And our Appropriations Suspense Committee hearing. We're going to establish our quorum. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Here.
Laura, here. Bates? Bates, here. Bell? Bell, here. Hill? Hill, here. Leyva? Leyva, here. Mendoza? Mendoza, here. Nielsen?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Nielsen, here.
Right there. Wake up. Our first item on the agenda is AB 1521, Committee on Judiciary. It is a suspense candidate. We have, committee has waived presentation, so we are going to call witnesses in support of AB 1521. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
Jacqueline Juan Hernandez, Department of Finance. We have not taken a position on this bill. The Judicial Council indicates that the forms and rules development required by the bill could be completed within existing resources.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing and hearing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Now we move to our, I'm sure everybody was waiting on this bill, so you guys are good. If anybody needs to leave, I won't be offended. I'd like to first take a second before we go through our appropriation suspense file, part 2. I'd like to thank everyone involved for their work and patience, as Senator Bates and I and our staffs have worked tirelessly over the past few weeks to meticulously review each proposal. I also want to take a second to thank our leader, Senator Kevin De Leon, our speaker, Tony Atkins, and Assembly Member Jimmy Gomez, my counterpart in the Assembly, for their work as well. After reviewing over 307 Assembly bills on the suspense file, with careful scrutiny, each of the bills on their merits and the cost, I am pleased with the outcome. Regardless of the outcome of each of these legislative proposals, I commend my colleagues in the Assembly from both parties for proposing measures aimed at to improve the lives of people in California. I have reviewed these proposals with an eye toward economic prosperity, fiscal responsibility, educational equity, investment in our working communities, and supporting forward-looking policies that will continue to make California stronger. I'd like to thank my colleagues and our respective staff for all their assistance and long hours. As of last night or this morning, we were still working, particularly appropriation staff under the leadership of Mark McKenzie, and of course, my Chief of Staff, Erica Contreras. I also would like to thank my fellow committee members, and especially my Vice Chairwoman, Senator Bates, and her staff for working with us through this process. Senator, would you like to share some comments?
Ditto what you have said, Chairman. It's been a great experience working with you, and I'd just like to say that I served on appropriations under a couple leaders, and I'm going to call you Ricardo, and he has been so open in discussions. He didn't always do what I asked him to do, but he certainly gave me the opportunity to state my position, certainly for our members. So I thank him a lot, and I hope as we go forward, we'll have even more of a great working relationship on both sides of the aisle. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you, Senator Bates. You and my mom now have something in common. Before I begin, I'd like to make a few announcements about how we will proceed so that members and the public and staff can follow along. We will be moving quickly through the agenda in alphabetic order by author's name. Pay close attention as we will be addressing measures that will be up for a vote this afternoon. We will announce the author, measure number, and provide a brief description of any amendments to the measure if applicable. With that, we are ready to begin working through today's business. Beginning with Senator Bates, SB 423. To pass with amendments per author to clarify roles of DTSC and DPH. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, aye. Bell? Bell, aye. Hill? Hill, aye. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza. Mendoza, I. Nielsen. Nielsen, I.
7-0, that measure is out. Next item is SB 448, Senator Wesso. Recommended do pass. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, I. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen? Nielsen, I.
7-0, that item is out. The next item is SCA 8 by Senator Mendoza. Motion is do pass. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
No.
Bates, no. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen? Nielsen, no.
5-2, that item is out. Next item is SB 657 by Senator Monning. Motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, I. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen? Nielsen, I.
7-0, that measure is out. Next item is SB 150 by Senator Nguyen. Motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, I. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen? Nielsen, I.
7-0, that item is out. That concludes our agenda. No. I just had to do that. Come on. It's late. It's late. First, this begins our first item with the assembly measures, beginning with Assembly Member Ashajian, AB 631. I'm sorry, 361. I'm dyslexic. 361. A motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, I. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen? Nielsen, I.
7-0, that item is out. Next, moving on to Assemblymember Alejo, AB 2. Motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
No.
Bates, no. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen? Nielsen, no.
5-2, that item is out. The next item is AB 30. Due pass as amended to expand and clarify the phase-in of the new of the new school or mascot name. We will substitute the role from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote with Republicans voting no. AB 101, Ethnic Studies Model Curriculum. Due pass as amended to eliminate ongoing costs related to the advisory committee and the department. We will substitute the role from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote with Republicans voting no. Next item is AB 276, DTSC response actions. Due pass as amended per author to clarify changes. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Not voting.
Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen?
5-0, that measure is out. Next item is AB 684, Healing Arts Licenses. The motion is due pass to rules as amended to authorize lease agreements between dispensing opticians and optometrists and prohibit the enforcement of the existing prohibition until January 1, 2019. Secretary, please call the roll.
On this?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr.
Senator
Chair.
Hill.
Thank you. This is on AB 684. As Chair of Business and Professions, we've looked at this considerably over the last year, and my concern as it goes to rules and as the conversation continues is that we just look at that extended time frame to 2019. I think that should be kind of curtailed, brought in a little bit, so to speak.
And I think that's what we're going to continue to work on, is the extension of the deadline.
Good. Very good. Thank you.
Secretary, please call the roll on AB 684.
The motion is due pass as amended to Senate rules. Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates? Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen.
5-0, that bill is moved to Rules Committee. Next item is AB 865, California Energy Commission, Diversity. Do pass as amended per author to limit the bill to CEC's outreach plan and make clarifying changes. We will substitute the roll call from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. Next item is AB 1075, Hazardous Waste Enforcement, Alejo. Do pass as amended per author to clarify the nature of violations, amend to remove review of the secretary. Substitute the roll from AB 2. That bill is out on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. The next item is AB 1390, Groundwater Adjudication. Do pass as amended per author to specify notice requirements, add disclosure requirements of property owners, delete the ability of the state to intervene, and make contingent on enactment of SB 226. Roll call vote. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates? Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen. Nielsen, no.
5-1, that measure is out. Moving on to Assemblymember Alan Travis. Travis Allen. AB 192, Specialized License Plates. Do pass as amended to delete Coastal Conservancy license plate provisions. We'll substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is Speaker Atkins. First item is AB 96, Ivory and Rhino Horn. Do pass as amended. Do pass. Do pass to the Senate floor. We will substitute the roll from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. Moving on to AB 392, San Diego River Conservancy. That's a do pass to the Senate floor. Substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is AB 437, Research and Development Tax Credit, Unused Credits. Do pass as amended per the author to reduce the risk of taxpayer fraud, delay implementation by 1 year, and make technical corrections. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. This bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is AB 635, Medical Interpretation Services. Do pass as amended to the Senate floor. Do pass to the Senate floor. We will substitute the roll from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. Next item is AB 1056. Do pass as amended per the author to revise committee membership and extend the sunset on the Social Innovation Financing Program for 2 years. We will substitute the roll of AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is AB 1071, Supplemental Environmental Projects. Do pass as amended per the author to make requirements only apply to agencies with enforcement authority. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates? Bates, I. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen. Nielsen, no.
6-1, that item is out. Next item is AB 1288, Cap and Trade. Do pass to the Senate floor. Substitute the roll from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. Next author is Assemblymember Baker. First item is AB 773, Healing Art Licenses. Do pass as amended to remove the medical board from the bill. Substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is AB 1058, Child Abuse Prevention Training. Do pass to the Senate floor. Substitute the roll on AB 361. That bill is approved on unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is Assemblymember Bigelow, AB 142. Do pass as amended to require 50% of non-state funding. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates? Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen.
5-0. The measure is out. Next is Assemblymember Bloom. First item is AB 703, Juveniles Attorney Qualifications, as a do pass to the Senate floor. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates? Bates, no. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen? Nielsen, I.
6-1, that item is out. Next item is AB 801, Post-Secondary Education Homeless Youth. Due pass is amended to remove mandate costs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates? Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen? Nielsen, I.
6-0, that item is out. Senator Nielsen, we closed the roll.
We can reconsider the vote. Right?
I'd move reconsideration, Mr. Chairman. AB 1390.
Okay. Members, this is a motion for reconsideration on AB 1390. This is just to grant reconsideration. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates? Bates, I. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, I.
7-0, the item has been granted reconsideration.
Then I'd move the bill.
There is a motion on the bill. Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass as amended to the Senate floor. Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Not voting.
Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, I.
6-0, that item is out. We are back to Assemblymember Bloom's items. We left off with AB 974, RDA dissolution bond proceed expenditures. That's due pass to the Senate floor. We will substitute the roll from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. Next item is AB 1330, Energy Efficiency Resource Standards Act. Due pass as amended to delete efficiency standards and revise demand response requirements. We will substitute the roll from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. We're moving on to Assemblymember Bonilla's items, beginning with AB 141, Teacher Induction Programs, due pass to the Senate floor. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, I. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen?
No.
Nielsen, no.
6-1, that item is out. Moving on to AB 177, Professions and Vocations Sunset Extensions. Due pass as amended per author to allow application for licensure before obtaining a degree and make technical corrections. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is AB 178, Professions and Vocations Sunset Extension. Due pass as amended per author to delete provisions relating to the practical examination and make technical corrections. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is AB 179, Healing Arts Sunset Extension. Due pass as amended per author to suspend the practical examination requirement from registered dental assistants until July 1, 2017, and make technical corrections. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, I. Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen?
No.
Nielsen, no.
6-1, that item is out. Moving on to AB 181, Professions and Vocations Sunset Extension. Due pass as amended per author to make technical corrections. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to AB 662, Changing facilities for disabled persons. Do pass as amended per author to apply requirement to new venues constructed after 2019, venues with capacity of 2,500 persons or more, and to existing facilities renovated after 2024. We will substitute the roll from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. Next item is AB 706, California Volunteers AmeriCorps STEM Program. Do pass as amended per author to prohibit use of general funds, limit initial size of the program, and limit annual funding for the foundation expenses. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Not voting.
Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, I.
6-0, that item is out. AB 798, College Textbook Affordability Act. Do pass as amended per author to eliminate ongoing cost pressures and make other clarifying changes. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on unanimous vote, 7-0. Next item is AB 849, Crimes Causing an Explosion. That's a do pass with amendments per author to define explosion and prohibit punishment for 2 crimes resulting from the same conduct. We will substitute the roll call from AB 361. That was approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is AB 1060, Cancer Clinical Trials. Do pass as amended per author to delete the continuous appropriation, require donations of $500,000 to begin making grants, and add a sunset date. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to AB 1114, Healthcare Eligibility and Enrollment. Do pass as amended to narrow the documents requiring translation to application and renewal forms and notice of action. We will substitute the roll of AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to Assemblyman Bonta. Beginning with AB 176, Data Collection. Do pass per author amendments to remove the Department of Healthcare Services. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to AB 187, Medi-Cal, CCS carve-out. Do pass as amended to the Senate floor. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. AB 266, Medical Cannabis. Do pass as amended to delete contents of the bill, insert legislative intent, and make enactment contingent on SB 643. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates?
Not voting.
Bell? Bell, I. Hill? Hill, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Nielsen?
Not voting.
5-0, this item is out. Moving on to AB 533, Healthcare Coverage. Do pass to the Senate floor. We will substitute the roll from AB 2. That bill is approved on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. Next item is AB 833, Individual Child Care Subsidy Plan. Do pass to the Senate floor. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to AB 1140, Victims' Compensation Government Claims Board. Do pass as amended per the author to delete wrongful conviction payment provision and make other revisions to the program eligibility. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. AB 1305, Limitations on Cost Sharing. Do pass to the Senate floor. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That was approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item, next member is Assemblymember Cheryl Brown. First item is AB 1156, Imprisonment in County Jail. Do pass as amended to delete authorizing guidelines on multi-jurisdictional sentencing and make other technical changes. We will substitute the roll of AB 2. This bill is approved on a 5-2 vote, with Republicans voting no. AB 1518, Medi-Cal waiver. Do pass as amended to only require the department to apply for 5,000 additional waiver slots. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to AB 1526, Survey, Caregiver Module. Do pass to the Senate floor. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to ACR 38, Task Force on Family Caregiving. Do pass as amended to reduce the number of task force members to 12 and require a non-state entity to provide administrative support. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to Assemblywoman Burke. First item is AB 522. Do pass as amended per author to require multiple evaluations on, and allow a contractor to respond to the final evaluation. Substitute the role of AB 2. This bill is approved on a 5-2 vote with Republicans voting no. Next item is AB 852. Do pass to the Senate floor. We will substitute the role from AB 2. This bill is approved on a 5-2 vote with Republicans voting no. AB 1261, community-based adult services. Do pass as amended per author to limit the requirement to counties in which services have been provided and authorized services in additional counties if doing so would be cost-effective. We will substitute the role of AB 361. The bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Next item is AB 1361, Cal Grant Program Veterans. Do pass to the Senate floor. Substitute the roll call from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to AB 1436, In-Home Supportive Services, Authorized Representative. We would do pass as amended per the author to clarify and streamline the administrative process. Substitute the roll call of AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. Moving on to Assembly Member Calderon, AB 74, Caregivers Regulatory Care Facilities Regulatory Visits. Do pass as amended per author to require annual inspections of child care and family daycare homes commencing January 1, 2019. We will substitute the roll call from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0. AB 159, Investigational Drugs. Do pass to the Senate floor. We will substitute the roll from AB 361. That bill is approved on a unanimous vote of 7-0.